For the first time on Western media, a North Korean diplomat reveals what really happens inside the regime's embassies abroad. Kim Hee-ran wasn't just any official, she was part of Pyongyang's elite, trusted with state secrets for 2 decades. But when she arrived in Beijing in 2022, she discovered something her government desperately didn't want her to see. What she's about to share has never been told before the moment. A loyal servant of the regime became its enemy, and the price her family paid for her escape. For more exclusive testimonies, subscribe and become part of our investigative community. These stories don't make headlines, but they should. Everything started in the fall of 2022, the day I received my assignment notice for the North Korean embassy in Beijing. I had served as a diplomat at North Korea's Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Pyongyang for 20 years. From the windows of our apartment on Ryomyong Street in Yong District, I could see the Taedong River. Every morning, the Huche Ideology Tower would catch the sunlight and shine, like it was blessing the city. Back then, I truly believed my life was a gift. My husband was a bureau director at the ministry. Our daughter was a third-year student at Kim Il-sung University. On holidays, we would go to Okryugwan, the famous Pyongyang restaurant, and eat cold noodles. My daughter would grin and say, "Mom, our noodles are better than theirs." My husband and I would laugh like nothing in the world could touch us. If you're a parent, you know that feeling. Nothing is sweeter than hearing your child talk with pride. When I got the China assignment, my daughter was the happiest. "Mom, if you go to China, buy me some books," she said. "I want to study Chinese." She was 22, and her eyes were bright with plans. She wanted to become a diplomat like me. She wanted to see the world. "Comrade Hye-ran, congratulations," my husband said, holding my hand. "Beijing is important. This is your chance to honor the country." I believed him. I thought it was the reward for 2 decades of loyalty and work. At the time, I didn't doubt our system. Honestly, why would I? I was part of the privileged class. Our rations arrived. Our daughter attended the best university. I walked Pyongyang streets, believing, with my whole heart, that our country was the best. But as I prepared to leave, something felt wrong. The passport process was suffocating. State security didn't just check me. They investigated my relatives, my friends, everyone connected to my life. A security officer stared at me and asked, "Can you swear you won't betray the homeland abroad?" His eyes were sharp. I can still see them. The night before my departure, my daughter came into my room. "Mom," she asked, "is China really poorer than us?" The question startled me. "Of course," I answered. "We live better than anyone." But my voice didn't sound like it used to. Even I could hear the crack in my certainty. On October 21st, 2022, I boarded an Air Koryo flight for Beijing. My husband and daughter waved at Sunan Airport. I waved back, smiling like a loyal citizen. I had no idea I was seeing my daughter for the last time. From the moment I landed in Beijing, it felt like I had stepped into another world. The airport was enormous, nothing like Sunan. People moved fast, in every direction. Bright ads glowed everywhere, loud and colorful. I remember thinking, is this really socialist China? This wasn't the China we were taught about. An embassy car drove me into the city. What I saw through the window didn't just surprise me, it shook me. Towering buildings, endless streams of cars, streets that stayed bright even after dark. We were told Pyongyang had developed just like this. But seeing Beijing with my own eyes, I knew that was a lie. After I unpacked at the embassy housing, I went to a nearby restaurant. I opened the menu and almost cried. The choices were endless, and the prices some were cheaper than the markets back in Pyongyang. Food that was holiday food at home was just everyday food here. Meat wasn't a dream. It was normal. The next day, I met a senior official at the embassy, Ri Cheol-min. He was a man in his late 40s and had been stationed in Beijing 3 years longer than me. He greeted me and said, "Welcome, Comrade Kim Hye-ran. But be careful. This place is full of capitalist poison." His words sounded loyal. His eyes did not. Ri Cheol-min didn't like the fact that I was a woman in my position. I caught him muttering more than once, A woman doing diplomacy. In North Korea, female diplomats are rare. A woman reaching a senior rank in Beijing was almost unheard of. I was the only one. He didn't congratulate me. He measured me. And quietly he tried to cut me down. On weekends, with embassy permission, I walked around the city. Wangfujing Street was packed. Stores overflowed with products. Young people took photos with smartphones. Elderly people practiced Tai Chi in parks, like they had nowhere else to be. I remember thinking, so this is what normal life looks like. One day, a Chinese staff member asked me, "Is it true North Korea is prosperous?" I couldn't answer. Lying felt disgusting. Telling the truth felt dangerous. So I said, "We live in our own way." It was the best I could do. At night, I missed my daughter so much it hurt. When she called and asked, "Mom, what's China like?" I kept it simple. "It's fine. Study hard." I couldn't tell her the truth. How could I say? The world is nothing like we were taught. Jong-un reported my movements. I heard he told the ambassador, "Comrade Kim has been going out often." That was the first time it truly hit me, even here. I was being watched. Beijing looked free, but my life wasn't. Everything changed in the spring of 2023 when I met a South Korean woman by accident. It happened at a Korean-Chinese restaurant in Beijing. I was eating cold noodles alone when I heard Korean spoken at the next table, clear, confident, with a familiar accent. An older woman, maybe in her 60s, said, "This taste, I've missed this." Our eyes met. "Dear," she asked softly, "where are you from?" I lowered my voice. "Pyongyang," I said. Her eyes filled with tears. "Oh my." "We're the same people," she whispered. "I'm from the south." We talked carefully. She told me her hometown was in Hamgyong province. During the Korean War, she was separated from her family and fled south. "My older brothers stayed in the north," she said, crying. "They died there. I never even heard their voices again." Listening to her, my chest felt tight, like it couldn't expand. Then she asked the question I feared most. "How are things in the north these days? Are people living well?" I couldn't lie anymore. The words came out before I could stop them. "It's hard," I said. She grabbed my hand and squeezed it. "You're young," she said. "Find freedom while you still can. Don't wait until you're old like me, full of regret." That night, back in the embassy housing, I did something I had never done before. I searched the internet secretly, trembling. If Jong-un found out, I could disappear. But I couldn't turn back. I read articles about North Korea's reality. I watched defector interviews. I saw South Korea's cities, its economy, its everyday life. It wasn't enemy propaganda. It was evidence. It was the world. And one thought wouldn't leave me alone. What will happen to my daughter? She was 23 then, full of dreams. She wanted to become a diplomat. She wanted to travel. But now I understood in North Korea, dreams like hers had a ceiling. And the ceiling was made of fear. Around that time, news reached me from Pyongyang. A colleague from university, someone I had trusted, had been purged. She was exposed to strange information in China, people whispered. My entire body went cold. I thought, that could be me. Any day. Jong-un's scrutiny intensified. He started asking, "You look unwell, Comrade Kim. What's on your mind?" His voice sounded polite. His eyes were calculating. I could tell he suspected something. Maybe he could smell doubt on me. One day, my daughter called. "Mom," she said brightly, "when I graduate, do you think I can enter the ministry?" Her voice was full of hope. It felt like a knife to the chest. I forced myself to answer, "Yes. Study hard." But inside, I was breaking. I have to protect her future. From that day on, I became someone else. Every night, I searched for information, South Korea, defectors, escape routes, resettlement. I memorized what I could. I erased my tracks. I stayed careful. I stayed quiet. But the thought kept growing. Freedom. I want to give my daughter freedom. If you're a parent, you understand this. A mother can endure hunger, shame, pain. But watching your child's future collapse? That is unbearable. I began to make a decision I had never imagined. I will escape first, and then I will bring my daughter out. In May 2024, Pyongyang ordered me to return. My heart almost stopped. The ambassador handed me an official document. Comrade Kim Hye-ran, it read, "Return by the end of June." The reason was work reporting, but I understood the real meaning. They were calling me back to investigate me, maybe to punish me, maybe to erase me like my colleague. Ri Cheolmin stepped closer, smiling. "Congratulations, Comrade Kim," he said. "You finally get to go home." The corner of his mouth lifted like a smirk. In that moment, I was sure. He had reported me. He had framed me as corrupted by capitalism. He resented me. And now he was enjoying this. That night, I called my husband quietly, carefully. "Honey," I said, "I received an order to return." There was a long silence. Then he spoke, low and tense. "Be careful. The atmosphere at the ministry is bad. Something is happening." He knew. He didn't say it outright, but he knew what a recall could mean. "What about our daughter?" I asked. "I'll protect her," he said, but his voice shook. We both understood. If I was purged, our daughter would suffer too. Her status would collapse. Her education could end. Her life could be crushed because of me. That's when my decision hardened into steel. I have to leave. Even if it destroys me, I have to. I began preparing the next day. I took small amounts of money from the embassy safe bit by bit. It was forbidden. It was dangerous. But my life was already on the edge. I bought a Chinese phone in secret. I asked a contact at a Korean-Chinese restaurant for the South Korean embassy's number. Ri Cheolmin watched everything. "Comrade Kim," he asked, "you've been going out often. Where do you go?" "It's just a walk," I said. My shirt stuck to my back with sweat. I called my daughter one last time. "Mom, when are you coming home?" she asked, cheerful as always. Tears rose immediately. "Soon," I said. My daughter listened to me, okay? "Yes, Mom," she said. "I'm proud of you." After I hung up, I cried until my throat hurt. I couldn't tell my husband the truth. If I said I'm escaping, he could be punished too. So I only said, "Please take care of our daughter." He replied, confused, "What are you talking about? You'll be back soon." But we both knew what those words really meant. On June 11th, 20 days before my deadline, Ri Cheolmin summoned me. "Comrade Kim," he said, "there's a meeting at China's foreign ministry tomorrow afternoon. Come with me." The moment he said it, my body reacted. This is my chance. If I disappeared during the meeting, I might slip past the embassy's tight control. That night I packed. One bag. That was all. A photo of my daughter. A small amount of cash. My passport. Nothing else. I stared at a photo of our Pyongyang home for a long time. The Taedong River. The Yucha Tower. Ryomyong Street. The city where I had lived for 48 years. I will never see it again. I whispered to my daughter's photo. "I'm sorry. I'll find freedom first. And I will bring you out. I promise." On June 12th, 2024, at 200 p.m., my life split into before and after. We arrived at the Chinese Foreign Ministry building. Ri Cheolmin went to a different room. "Meet me in the lobby in an hour," he said. 1 hour. That was everything I had. About 30 minutes into the meeting, I excused myself to use the restroom. A Chinese staff member pointed the way. Inside the bathroom, I faced the mirror. The woman staring back at me looked unfamiliar, older, pale, and terrified. There is no going back. I climbed out through a restroom window. It was the first floor. I could drop down. I landed hard, clutched my bag, and ran into the streets of Beijing. For a second, I thought someone shouted behind me. "Stop!" Maybe in Chinese. Maybe in Korean. I didn't look back. I just ran. I reached the subway station. I had been there before. I bought a ticket and boarded a train, blending into the crowd. My whole body was soaked in sweat. Did Ri Cheolmin notice? Did he call the embassy? Did he call the police? Fear pressed down on my lungs. I got off at Wangfujing Station. I remembered the Korean-Chinese restaurant, the one where I met the older woman. I wandered, searching. I got lost. I walked and ran until my legs shook. By sunset, I found it. The moment I stepped inside, my strength collapsed. The woman saw me and gasped. "What happened?" "Please," I said. "Help me." She led me to a back room. "Hide here," she said. "You don't need to explain. I understand." People like her had helped North Koreans before. That night, she fed me soybean paste stew. I ate and cried at the same time. When it was quiet, I turned on my phone. I had 23 missed calls from the embassy. Ri Cheolmin had called too. A message flashed on the screen. Comrade Kim Hee-ran, where are you? Come back now. It's not too late. My hands trembled. Then I turned the phone off. It's too late, I thought. I'm not going back. The woman asked, Are you going to the South Korean embassy? Yes, I said. I have to. It's dangerous, she warned. Chinese police watch that place. I still have to go, I said. I have a daughter. She sighed. All right, my nephew will help you tomorrow. That night I couldn't sleep. Beijing's lights glowed outside the window, bright, distant, almost unreal. I held my daughter's photo and whispered, I'm free now. Soon I'll bring you here. Life in hiding in Beijing was hell. Every day was fear. The woman's nephew, Kim Seong-hun, was a Korean-Chinese man in his 30s. He spoke bluntly. Nuna, you can't go to the embassy right away. Surveillance is heavy. Come hide at my place first. His apartment was on the outskirts of Beijing. Small, quiet. One room became my cage. In the daytime, I couldn't go outside. Curtains stayed closed. I moved silently. Even using the bathroom felt risky. Chinese police come looking for defectors, Seong-hun said. Do not go out. About a week later, we tried approaching the embassy at night. It was around 11 p.m. But police vehicles were parked nearby. If you go now, you'll be caught, Seong-hun said. We have to wait. Then the news from Pyongyang arrived. Through his network, Seong-hun learned my husband was being investigated. They're questioning your family, he said. And my daughter, he said she had been expelled from university. I felt like the floor disappeared. I did this. I ruined them. I cried every night in that cramped room. Quietly. Like the sound itself could get me killed. I had never felt so alone. No homeland. No family. No future. Just a pounding heart and a closed curtain. After about a month, Seong-hun brought someone to see me, a South Korean missionary, Pastor Park, a man in his 60s. Sister, he said gently, taking my hand, this must be unbearable. The warmth of his grip broke something in me. My eyes blurred. I will contact the South Korean embassy, he said. We will find a safe way. I didn't know what to say. Thank you, I whispered. I'm not a religious person. That's okay, he said. God's love doesn't require permission. One night, police entered our apartment complex. A loudspeaker blared, Reward of 10,000 yuan for reporting defectors. Seong-hun shoved me into a closet. Nuna, don't make a sound. Inside the closet, I pressed a hand over my mouth. Footsteps approached. Someone knocked. How many people live here? A policeman demanded. Just me, Seong-hun answered. We need to check. They entered. My heart hammered so hard I thought the closet door would shake. A policeman walked through the room, then paused near the closet. I couldn't breathe. Then he moved on. Nothing unusual, he said. They left. When I stepped out, my knees gave out. Seong-hun's eyes were wet. Nuna, I can't hide you anymore. Next time, they'll find you. I knew he was right. Call Pastor Park, I said. I need to go to the embassy. That night, I dreamed of my daughter. She was crying. Mom, hurry! It's cold. I'm hungry. I woke up soaked in tears. Just hold on, I told myself. I'm coming! On July 15th, 2024, it was finally time to go to the South Korean embassy. Pastor Park made a plan. The gate opens around 500 a.m. That's our best window. Seong-hun drove me near the embassy before dawn. Beijing's streets were quiet, washed in early light. Nuuna, Seong-hun said, crying, please survive. I stood in front of the embassy gate. It was only about 100 meters away, but it felt like 1,000 miles. I whispered a prayer to a God I didn't fully know. Then I walked. 50 meters. 30. 10. A shout exploded behind me in Chinese. Stop! I ran. At 48 years old, I sprinted like my life depended on it because it did. The embassy gate was opening. Help me! I screamed in Korean. A South Korean security guard waved me in. Get inside! I slipped through the gate. The Chinese police shouted outside, but it was too late. I was inside. My knees buckled. Thank you, I kept saying. Thank you. A consular officer came quickly. Where are you from? Pyongyang, I said. I was a diplomat. His face changed. A diplomat? That's rare. From that day on, I stayed in the embassy's protection area. Procedures began immediately: identity checks, asylum paperwork, long interviews. Then came the hardest question. Do you have family? I have a daughter, I said. In Pyongyang, my voice failed. The officer's tone softened. We'll look for ways. Don't lose hope. About a week later, I heard the North Korean embassy demanded my return. China pressured too, but South Korea refused. Someone told me the words South Korea used under our constitution. North Koreans are also our citizens. I cried like a child. So I'm a citizen here. I belong somewhere. I waited in the embassy for a month. I couldn't leave the building. The room was small. The days were long. But it wasn't hiding. It was safety. It was a future. On August 12, 2024, they finally told me tomorrow morning, you will board a flight to Incheon. I stared, unable to believe it. Really? I can really go? Yes, the officer said. You're going home? That night, I barely slept. I had lived 48 years in Pyongyang. Then I spent 2 months running for my life in Beijing. Now I was about to step into a new world. I pressed my daughter's photo to my chest. Wait for me, I whispered. I'm going to South Korea. I'm coming back for you. The next morning, South Korean officials escorted me to the airport. I boarded the plane. Beijing shrank below the clouds. Goodbye, Beijing, I thought. Goodbye, my past. 2.5 hours later, we landed at Incheon Airport. The doors opened. I stepped onto South Korean soil. Welcome to the Republic of Korea, an airport staff member said. I collapsed and cried. I don't have the words to fully explain what that felt like. The weight of fear lifting, the air tasting different, the simple fact of standing somewhere without chains you can't see. I've been in South Korea for 6 months now. Every day feels unreal and every day feels like a gift. From Incheon, I was taken to Hanawon, the government resettlement center for North Korean defectors. I was questioned by intelligence officials too. Because I had been a diplomat, they said they needed to verify many things. For a month, I told my entire life story. Pyongyang, the embassy, the escape, everything. I stayed at Hanawon for 3 months, learning how to live in the South. At first, nothing made sense. What is a bank? I asked. How do I use a credit card? Things you do without thinking felt like a foreign language to me. I was almost 50, learning life from the beginning. The biggest shock was a supermarket. A Hanawon instructor took me to one. Goods were stacked like mountains. Entire aisles of choices. I stared and asked, can people really buy all of this? Yes, the instructor said, if they have money. I picked up a carton of milk and tears came. In Pyongyang, milk could be impossible to find even on holidays. Here it was just a purchase. Convenience stores stunned me too. Open at midnight. Open all night? I asked. Does the owner never sleep? The instructor smiled. People work in shifts. In the North, that kind of everyday freedom didn't exist. Walking outside late, buying what you want, choosing your life. I finally understood what freedom meant in real terms. Even the way people spoke felt different. When I asked, how much is this? They answered softly. It's 10,001. The tone was gentle, almost friendly. In the North, speech was rigid. Now I catch myself speaking the South's softer way too. After Hanawon, I settled in Seoul. The government helped me with a small apartment. It was a studio, but to me it felt like a palace. Hot water anytime, heating that turned on automatically, internet that worked. At night I stared out the window, breathing like a person who had been underwater for decades. But when the lights go out, I think of my daughter. Are you okay? I whisper into the dark. I'm here. I'm waiting. I tried to find a broker, but the cost is enormous. So I'm saving. Everyone has one purpose. I will bring my daughter out. These days, I volunteer with a defector support group. I help people like me, people who arrive shaking, confused, overwhelmed. Uni, they tell me, this is so hard. I answer, I know. It gets better. Give it time. People who've lived the same pain don't need long explanations. We understand each other with one look. Last week, Pastor Park visited Seoul. Sister, he asked, Are you doing well? Yes, I said. I'm alive because of you. He smiled. It's God's grace. Now I go to church too. In the North, religion didn't exist in our lives. Here, I found myself praying especially for one thing. Please, I pray, let me see my daughter again. I know what freedom is worth. The freedom you live with every day without thinking was something I had to risk my life to touch. There are still about 25 million people in the North living without it. My daughter is one of them. I hope for reunification someday. We are one people. We speak the same language. We eat the same food. We carry the same memories. Like the families separated by the Korean War, I believe we will meet again. Please, when you think of North Korea, think of the people you cannot see. Think of the families. Think of the children. They dream too. They want to live like human beings. Someday, if reunification comes, I want to meet my daughter beside the Taedong River again. I want to stand in Pyongyang, not as a prisoner, but as a mother who kept her promise. Until that day, I live here in South Korea, grateful and waiting